Good afternoon, Zinger Nation. My name is Logan Ross, and this is Moon or Bust, your home for all things altcoins and DeFi. I am live today from Austin, Texas. Not usually where I'm coming at you from, but as usual, we got that fire crypto content coming at you. Today, we'll be talking about the Ethereum upgrade EIP1559, which is slated for tomorrow morning. We'll be talking about the ongoing NFT Mania, and we will have an interview with the Black Women Talk Tech conference leaders. So you do not want to miss it. Stick around, smash the like button, drop a comment, let us know what crypto projects you're looking at this week. And if we get some time at the end, we'll take a look at them and share our thoughts with you. I am joined today by my two wonderful co-hosts, Ryan, Master of Margin, McNamara. How you doing today, Ryan?
Doing well. Long time no see, Logan.
It's been a minute. Hey, I like your shirt, Wolverine Blockchain. Let's get it going.
I like your hat.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, you right back at you, man.
Where'd you get it?
Swag.benzinga.com. You can get your own. It's got the Moon or Bust logo embroidered on the side, designed by yours truly. And you can get a 25% off discount code if you join the Telegram. We will send it to you. And that can all be found in the description below. Also, later down there, we started a separate crypto channel. So if you want just crypto clips, hit that up. It's the first link in the description. It's fire, I promise. And I also have Brian Moir. How you doing today, Brian?
Good. We're all matching the same hats, and we're all live for the first time in almost a week.
It's been a minute. We were all on vacation. We were out of the office. And so we couldn't have shows, but we missed you guys. We hope you missed us too. And we're just happy to be back. So let's get the show started. Let's get it going. Ryan, tell us about EIP1559.
EIP, Ethereum Improvement Proposal 1559. It's set to go live tomorrow, and it's one of the biggest changes to Ethereum's network in the history of Ethereum. Now, of course, ETH2 is going to be bigger than this, but this nonetheless is a huge upgrade. It's going live tomorrow, and there's talks of Ethereum becoming a deflationary currency. So first off, it's not going to become a deflationary currency just yet. I mean, it's possible, but it's not set in stone. So the way this works right now, Ethereum fees are basically supply and demand. The market decides how much you pay, which kind of sucks because, you know, if something's going on Ethereum's network, it can get super congested, and you might be stuck paying $30, $40 to send a transaction or to do a swap on Uniswap. So it can get really expensive. So what they're doing to improve this is they'll have a base fee for every transaction, which will be a certain amount. And then if the network is congested up to a certain degree, then the base fee goes up even higher. And this base fee will be burnt. So this is going to be deflationary in a sense because they will be burning Ethereum, but it doesn't have to be a deflationary currency because there isn't a set supply of Ethereum in existence. Right now, I think the inflation rate on Ethereum is about 4%. Once ETH2 comes out, though, it's going down to 0.4%. So I'd expect once ETH2 comes out, launches hopefully later this year or early next year, then we'll actually see Ethereum become deflationary pretty much for sure, because you only have to offset that 0.4% inflation instead of 4% inflation. I mean, right now, maybe we'll see like a 1 or 2% drop, and maybe it'll just be 1 or 2% inflation, which is, I mean, that's still a really big difference in the grand scheme of things, especially because this is perpetual. Are you guys excited about this? Do you guys have any other thoughts on EIP 1559? I know we've been waiting so long for it. It's finally coming.
I don't really have any thoughts besides I am pretty excited about it, just to make some movement and kind of more progressive steps towards ETH2 and all that stuff. I think it's no matter what we do, every time there's something new that happens with Ethereum, it's always for the better. It might not be the best thing, but it just means there's progress, and I always like that.
Yeah, so I want to bring up AO Finance's comment. The miners are not going for it. I think the miners have agreed at this point. They're okay with it. They've accepted it. Miners are also big bag holders, and they want to see their bags get puffed up, and they know EIP 1559 will lead to that eventually down the road. So yeah, it might be harder to convince them to switch to proof of stake. But I think EIP 1559 should have no issues, going forward and succeeding as an upgrade. So I'm pretty hopeful for it. There's that misconception you brought up, Ryan, that it's going to become deflationary immediately, which is just not the case. It's based on the demand and the load on the network, but it will be burning ETH immediately, which is very bullish in my opinion. So I'm happy for it. I'm excited. We've been waiting forever.
Mm-hmm.
And even though part of this base fee, or actually all of this base fee, is burned, the miners are still making money because it's the base fee and then plus a tip on top. And that tip goes to the miners to process your transactions faster. So if you're not tipping them, it'll probably take hours for your transaction to go through. And if you tip them a lot, it'll happen a lot faster.
Mm-hmm. All right, next up we got NFT Mania. Ryan, you want to fill us in on what's going on in the NFT space these days?
Yeah, man, NFTs are just going crazy right now. CryptoPunks are getting swiped up by VC firms. CryptoPunks are getting swiped up by celebrities. We saw Gary Vee buy a ape CryptoPunk for over $3 million. I don't know if you guys saw the exact number. It might have been 5 million. I know an ape sold for 5, another one sold in the 3s. Gary Vee got one of them. Anyways, like, zombies are going for millions of dollars these days, and the floor on CryptoPunks just a week ago was about $30,000, and now you're going to struggle to find one under $90,000. It's just going insane. Also, Bored Ape Yacht Clubs. I mean, this is going insane too. The mint price on that was 0.08 ETH, and there's 10,000 of them in existence. So 10,000 people got, well, not 10,000 people, but 10,000 were minted at 0.08 ETH. And now the price floor is over 10 ETH, which is just absolutely crazy. That's $27,000. I mean, at this point, I think Bored Apes are probably here to stay as an NFT. I think they could survive a bear market with all the hype and all the people that are using them as profile pictures and avatars. So I mean, it's good to see. I mean, do you guys think that these NFTs will survive a bear market? And not only that, but do you guys think that they'll do better or worse than cryptocurrency in a bear market? Because what I've seen is people get emotionally attached to these things and don't want to sell them. And it's usually the people who have a ton of money buying a $30,000 JPEG, right? They don't really need the liquidity in most cases.
Well, we saw that huge whenever it first, like the NFT boom first happened, where Beeple sold one of his for like over $60 million, and now that's getting beaten quite a few times, not on the same stage, but on OpenSea or wherever you NFT marketplaces. But that's kind of crazy to think about. I remember saying that this whole art thing is going to kind of die out. NFTs are here to stay. They're going to change the game. They're going to change the world. But this huge art price, influx is probably going to die out soon. Well, I guess we're wrong, or I was wrong, because we're seeing it come back, and I feel like it's even bigger because there's even more of a stage. There's even more people doing it, and these boutique artists are creating, these really trendy collectibles like it, and then you have the NFT gaming aspect where each one of those things are even more collectible, and they're going for thousands of dollars, even if you get it by luck or you buy it cheap. I mean, there's plenty of places to make money. I mean, I was wrong. It's going to keep going. It's going to keep going up. We might see a little fluctuation if it hits a bear market, but there are like two different types of investing there. And like you said, people want it to have it, not to sell it. It's like buying a Rolex because it's only going to go up in value. You're not really buying it to like keep reselling or selling. You buy it because you know what it is and you know what it's worth, and you know that your value is going to increase the longer you have it. And it's not really be flashy because people know what it is. They know what it is, and that's who you're targeting to show. So I think it's just going to keep going and going, and I kind of like where it's at.
Can you guys see my screen?
No, you have to add it to the.
There you go.
Oh, Matrix. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I thought Geez, I need a computer science degree to do that. I'm not sure if I can. What is it? Control plus?
Hey Siri.
There we go. Yeah, I just wanted to go over some of the different attributes and traits for punks before we get into our interview, just to educate the audience a little bit on what these things are, why certain ones are going for so much money and other ones, are still ridiculously expensive, but going for less money than some of the other ones. So there are different types of punks out there. The rarest are aliens. None have sold in a long time. The cheapest is 35K ETH. Not USD. So yeah, that would be the record for the highest NFT sale if that actually sells. But I mean, someone's just asking, you can ask whatever you want. Before this, it was like 300,000 ETH. So this is the first like reasonable alien CryptoPunk sale in a while. There have been a couple aliens that have sold for $9 million in the past. So, and since then the markets have gone up a ton. So, I mean, this is still high, but maybe 10,000, 20,000 ETH could get it done and we could see a giant sale. So yeah, 9 aliens, 24 apes. Gary Vee just bought an ape for 3 or 5 million, something insane. The zombies, 88 of, and then male and female, which are kind of the normal punks, but those do have different attributes, which you can see here, and the attributes have different rarities. So you see the beanies; those are the most rare attribute there is. There's chokers, pilot helmets. There's a ton of different traits, and they can have several traits on one CryptoPunk. And as you can see, I mean, some of these traits, these are the price floor here for each type of punk with a certain trait. And as you can see, some traits are more coveted than others. One in particular I actually want to bring up was the hoodies, the hoodie punks. These things are going crazy. The floor price, even though there's 259, it's not super rare. I mean, it's pretty rare, but it's nothing crazy. There's a lot above it.
I've seen the hoodies going crazy here right now. I want to look at some chat questions
really
quickly.
Let's run it.
Clear up some confusion. So Hector wants to know, what are these? They are NFTs. They're digital art. But the reason that people buy them and pay stupid amounts of money for them is because they're avatars. So they're the avatar that a person will use in the metaverse, whether that's on Twitter or eventually in like a future blockchain-based VR game. You could put these NFTs on either of them, right? So that kind of transitions into Iron Lion's question, which says, can you explain how you can profit off NFTs? So basically, an NFT is only worth what someone is willing to pay for it, right? So when they originally release, you can mint them for anywhere between 0 and 1 ETH, depending on the series and how much the creators want to charge. So you could create your own series and profit off of that by charging people to mint them, but you'll have to create demand for it. If there's no demand, no one's going to be willing to pay these exorbitant prices that they are willing to pay for CryptoPunks, for example. Yeah, so I think that pretty much sums it up for the CryptoPunks. I say we get to the interview. Now we skip the market update, push that back to the Moon or Bust, pre-Moon or Bust segment. So yeah, I would like to bring onto the stream Regina from the Black Women Talk Tech Conference. Regina, how are you doing today? Welcome to Moon or Bust.
Regina, you're muted.
Oh. Some audio issues.
All right.
There we go.
Hello,
hey, there we go.
How's everyone doing?
Good.
Doing great. Thank you. So Regina, could you tell us a little bit about your background in tech and entrepreneurship?
Sure. So my background originally was in fashion retail, and always wanted to be an entrepreneur. My dad was an entrepreneur. His dad was an entrepreneur. So I knew I was going to do something, didn't know what it was, but ended up focused on beauty. I've had hair my entire life, if you could believe it, and wanted to look at ways to improve the hairstyling experience for women of color, which prompted me to create Trust Noir, which is the first on-demand, on-location beauty booking app for women of color. So think Uber for hair salons. The salon comes to you when you push a button through our app. And we launched Trust Noir in 2013 in the Philadelphia area. We expanded to New York, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, and Dallas, Texas. And it was that experience that helped me, that introduced me to tech, right? Like I was a non-technical founder. I had no idea what a tech stack was, what any of these coding languages were, wasn't familiar with venture capital. I definitely had not been introduced to blockchain and Bitcoin or any of those things, but knew that I had $1 billion business. And that was really the impetus behind creating Black Women Talk Tech after meeting my co-founders and hearing our stories were just so very similar, even though we were working on like completely different things.
That's awesome. So could you tell us a little bit about how you met and how you decided to start the conference?
Sure. So my co-founder, Asosa Ighodaro, and I met at another conference. We were, it was one of these invite only, you have to apply to get in. And of course, we were the only chocolate drops in the room. And so I looked across the room and was like, wow, look, another Black woman. Let me run up to her, say hello. And so that's literally how we met. Like we didn't know each other before then. But again, we just got to talking and started hearing like, oh, wow, you're having problems finding a technical talent and CTO. And oh, wow, you're having problems with, raising money and talking to investors. Me too. And so that was really like, wow, maybe other people are having similar problems. Let's see if we can all get together. And that prompted us to have our first conference at Google in 2017. Wow. And we hoped that we'd get 50 people to come. And we had over 300 RSVPs. And so we were like packed in there like sardines. Google was upset because there were some fire code issues, but we let that slide. And then fast forward to this year, we're hosting our 5th annual conference. It will be virtual. And there's so much more to come.
That's awesome. So you mentioned some issues that kind of brought you together, you bonded over, and you realized you could help other people with these same issues. So let's talk about some of the challenges that Black women in tech are facing today, and what we could do about it.
Absolutely. So, there's a lot of challenges being a woman, as well as being a woman of color. Oftentimes there's an air of being dismissed. Oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Oh, she's not the business, the entrepreneur, like who's the real owner of this enterprise. And then on top of that, you look at the idea of being a woman of color, where just the access and the networks are very, very different. So when we talk about, creating opportunities and creating space, it's having these kinds of conversations. It's about blending ideas and opportunities together and understanding that everybody wins when you invest in when you invest in smart people, right? We have seen that Black women entrepreneurs have higher valued companies in the long run because they're more profitable in the early stages of their startup. We're also seeing a 3 and 4x higher return on investment. So again, savvy investors, it would behoove you to get in on the ground level of a Black woman entrepreneur, because she is not going to quit. She is the most resourceful woman on the planet, and she's creating businesses at a faster clip than any other demographic in the US. So we want to make sure that we tell that story and we amplify the stories of women who are already doing it, in spite of challenges to getting access to capital and technical talent and mentors and social capital. But there are Black women unicorns that do exist. Dr. Toyin Ajayi is the founder of City Block Health. She is a healthcare tech startup that is valued at $1 billion. There is Tope down in Atlanta. He is the founder of Calendly. Calendly is a $1 billion business run by a Black man. So these businesses do exist. And so I don't want to sit here and say, oh, it's never going to happen and blah, 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 like it's happening. We want it to happen in a bigger way, so that we can normalize it, so that we can say, oh, it's just another day at the office for a Black woman to run $1 billion business, just like Mark Zuckerberg and Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and Jack Dorsey. Like I can go on, right? Mm-hmm.
That's great. So you talked about how you share stories at your conference. Are there also any like job opportunities there? Are there training sessions? Yes. What's available for resources at the conference?
Oh boy, you listen. This conference is so chock full of amazing goodness. I cannot even tell you, but actually I will. So recruiting roundtables. We've got executives from Netflix, from Roku, from Shipt, from Citi, from Visa, from Morgan Stanley, from Bloomberg, from AARP, from the government, from MasterCard. We have got some amazing partners that have come literally hiring on the spot, like doing interviews in their breakout sessions. Come to the conference, and it's open for everyone. Let me also caveat this by saying, again, all boats rise. Right. So we want to make sure that we're telling the stories of Black women in entrepreneurship just through a different lens. Being an entrepreneur is hard, period. Getting into tech is hard, period. Whether you're a woman, whether you're Black or not. So the recruiting opportunities are definitely there. We'll also be having investor office hours with Salesforce Ventures, Amex Ventures, Full Ventures. And I feel like I'm missing a couple, but we definitely have several VC funds and accelerator programs that will also be on hand to talk to entrepreneurs. We have conversations about Bitcoin and blockchain that will lead with some folks that are really popular on Clubhouse, along with conversations with productivity hack, legal documents. What should your first set of legal documents be? You know, if you're starting a business, should you be a C Corp or an LLC? Are you looking to raise money immediately? immediately? Could you start off as an LLC and take more advantage of tax benefits in that structure versus moving on to a C corporation? These are some of those types of conversations that'll happen in the breakouts. We've got Melody Hobson, co-founder of Ariel Capital and chairwoman of Starbucks, as one of our keynote speakers. We've got Peggy Alford, who sits on the board of Square and is also an SVP at PayPal. And so much. Timnit Gebru, she is an ex-Googler, founder of Blacks in AI, and she will be talking to us about racial bias and coding. So there is something for everyone, to be sure.
Super cool.
That's really awesome.
Hey Ryan, I want you to ask that question, but real quick, while we're talking about all the great features of the show, I want to plug where you can find out about tickets and pricing. Where can people go?
Yes. www.blackwomentalktech.com. Click on Get Tickets, use code RTB25 and get 25% off. So that's code RTB25 and get 25% off. You can follow us on Instagram and get to the link. We're on Facebook. You can get to the same link, but the direct link is blackwomentalktech.com. Click on Get Tickets, grab a ticket today.
Awesome.
Regina, it's really cool all you're doing for Black women. I really think that what you said, there's a lack of opportunity, and being able to network like this at an event, it's really awesome. And really it is, your network is your net worth, and having all these like-minded individuals together with all these big companies, I think this is great. And it's really going to keep being like a huge deal, I think. I mean, you have Netflix now, it's only 5 years in, and you have all these huge companies. I love to see it, honestly.
Thank you so much.
Very impressive, yeah.
But I do want to shift a little bit over to the cryptocurrency industry, since we are a crypto show. So my first question for you regarding crypto is, the cryptocurrency industry, as you know, it's heavily male. And, that's no surprise, because, it's kind of the intersection between math and finance, which are already two heavily male industries. How do you think we can get more women into blockchain technology and into tech startups regarding cryptocurrency?
Ryan, that's a great question. I agree with you. It has been very male dominated. I think that also in some respects connects back to your comment about your network, right? So, the more times you have the same pattern matching, right? The same group of guys or the same group of associates building projects and not including, right? Thinking about how could this team be more powerful with diversity of thought. And bringing women into those conversations in those early stages, I think is definitely something that we should be considering. Just being thoughtful about how you're building your startup from the beginning is extremely important. And if not as part of the founding team, then as your first employee, right? As your second employee, having, the forward thinking, I think is definitely important, because, it's not a pipeline issue, right? It's not to say that women aren't strong in math and finance and that they don't exist. They definitely exist. They're not getting the knock on the door. They're not getting the phone calls. They're not getting those invitations to participate in the conversations around building these kind of crypto businesses.
Yeah, I totally agree. And another 2 cents I have on this is, blockchain's so focused on finance right now, and so many males obviously are in finance, but I think there's such a wide application of blockchain technology that I think we should see some more diversity within blockchain in the coming years, whether that's, NFTs or social media or all these different applications. I think that's really a good opportunity for women to get in, and not only just get into blockchain, but get into something that, they really like and enjoy to do. Not to say women don't like finance. Obviously, there are women who are great at finance and love to do finance. But as blockchain expands, I think that we'll see diversity expand within the industry as well.
I agree. I definitely agree. And just as a note, I think that being able to have crypto offerings, when you're trying to raise money, I've definitely seen a lot more Black founders and Black entrepreneurs be able to leverage these crypto offerings as a way to raise money. So I'm seeing there's so many applications, to your point, that allows, everyone to participate and to set everyone up to win.
I totally agree, and that's actually a perfect segue into my next question. I did see your interview with Justin Roberti from Benzinga, and you were talking about, how it is really hard sometimes for Black women in particular to get funding for entrepreneurship and their businesses. Do you think that cryptocurrency and blockchain, you kind of already answered it,
Yeah.
do you think that'll really help? Because I personally do, anyone can create a token, and then it's all about the business, it's all about the entrepreneurship. And like, not only that, but it's so exciting because, you don't have to file with the SEC, you don't have to go public. It's a way to publicly fund something without having to do all that filing, have to get VCs to come in, raise money. What's your take on that?
Yes.
Yeah.
all of what you said. I mean, the minute, I don't know if you all are familiar, Dawn Dixon is a Black woman founder of a company called Popcom, and she raised one of the largest initial crypto offering rounds ever, just by any entrepreneur. And this was a Black woman. I've known her for years. She is amazing. She is scrappy as hell. And the fact that she was able to do it, right? Like to your point, there was no red tape. There was no investor vetting. There was no, regulatory hoops that you have to jump to be an accredited investor to invest in your business. There's no credit checks on your personal credit. Like there's so many different benefits to leveraging this system to generate funding. I think we are only scratching the surface in terms of it being a very viable offering for entrepreneurs of color, because we particularly at Black Women Talk Tech, we focus a lot on alternative financing. If Black women get less than 1% of all venture capital that exists, right? Literally 0.06%, I think it is. So that doesn't translate to a lot of money. And we need to be able to, developers and engineers don't get paid with hugs and kisses. So we have to find other ways to get the money, whether it's through loans and financing, grants, things like this. So this is a whole new avenue of financing that we can add to this alternative financing portfolio.
And another integral part of being an entrepreneur is owning equity in the company you work for, the company you start, which I think that cryptocurrency is a great way to do that. A lot of these projects are hiring people and giving them a lot of equity in whatever, cryptocurrency that the project owns. Do you see that a lot in traditional jobs when you're at these conferences? Are these jobs offering equity, or do you think that cryptocurrency might be a better way to go about getting a job that offers significant equity with high growth potential?
That's an interesting question. I haven't, just to answer the first part, I haven't seen a lot of businesses offer equity as part of joining their teams, depending on what kind of job it is, right? So like if they're looking for building out like their founder team or the first or second employee, maybe there's an equity conversation, but that also depends on like what stage they're in. Are they at like Series A, Series B? Then yes, that's a conversation. If you're an early stage startup, which is really the bulk of our community, you really just don't have the equity to give at that point, because you need to kind of still save that for other investment opportunities. But when we think about crypto, I mean, I think that definitely is a different option, and depending on how the businesses are structured, that could definitely be something that could be more attractive to early employees in terms of how they join companies. I just haven't seen it yet.
Gotcha.
So could you share any success stories you guys have had so far with the past or present or anything going on right now when it pertains to blockchain technology and Black women talking tech, or in cryptocurrencies or anything in that kind of space? Because I'm sure it looks like you guys have had a lot of success with the blockchain and how more inclusive it is and stuff like that. So we're kind of interested in seeing your take on what successes you've seen.
Absolutely, Brian. Listen, we are so excited about so many success stories that have come out of attendees that have come to our conference. So if you remember the first conference that we had at Google in 2017, we had a young lady, her name is Crystal Etienne, come to our conference and actually receive her first check from an investor that attended that conference as well. And that was in February of 2017. And by the end of the year, she was making 9-figure revenue.
Wow.
So literally that little bit of money allowed her to scale in a huge way. And 2 years later, in 2019, she raised one of the largest Series A rounds for a Black woman founder. And this is, again, Crystal Etienne, founder of Panty Prop, and now called Ruby Love. And so, these are the stories that we hear over and over and over again. We have had over 45 startups either get access to funding, get into an investment pipeline, or even close their investment rounds as the result of meeting the resources and the investors that they were looking for at our conference. We are very intentional about curating that room so that, success is when preparation meets opportunity.
Yeah. So
the women are prepared. That is not the issue. The issue is getting in front of the right opportunities. And so I think that, I can go on and on about, the winners of our pitch competition, they get into Techstars and all that kind of great stuff. And then I would say, from a crypto perspective, having Dawn, I think is probably the best example of a Black woman that has truly leveraged this crypto opportunity to raise money for her startup, and has used it to, be very, very successful and to scale and grow her business.
That's awesome. And that's one of my favorite parts about crypto or blockchain technology too, is you don't really have to have a lot of money to be successful, as long as you put the drive, you make preparation meet to I forgot the other word you used, but just put it all together, and anything is possible as long as you just put your feet down and do it, and have that drive that your conference kind of empowers everybody to do, which is awesome. Cool. One thing I do want to know is, you said something with the interview with Justin, that blockchain technology is a little bit more inclusive. How would you how could you explain why it's a little bit more inclusive, and why you would want more entrepreneurs to get into that space specifically?
I think that crypto is more inclusive because there are less restrictions. I think that when you have to put a name and a face in order to access something, right? We talk about, the venture capital industry, we talk about that space, and we know that there's, white guys from Stanford and Harvard, those are the guys, right? And that's what they do, but there is no face to crypto. Right, like there isn't a particular kind of way that you have to go and make money in crypto. There's, literally, you all were just talking about new offerings, like something's coming out all the time, every time. Stocks are going up and down. It's very speculative. And so when you have a speculative business, then the thing that's the most valuable is your hustle. And that is colorblind. It's gender agnostic, and that is the thing that will propel you, and that's what makes it much more inclusive.
Yeah, I agree.
Regina, are you familiar with the metaverse at all? Because this kind of reminds me of the metaverse in a way.
I'm like vaguely familiar with it, but tell me what it is.
So it's basically this idea that, we're getting more and more online, like as time goes on, and, maybe eventually down the road, like our lives will basically be consumed online, and it already is to a huge degree.
Okay.
And so these NFT collectors, I don't know if you're in, like when we were talking about the crypto punks that are selling for insane amounts of money.
No.
So those are NFTs, and they're used as profile pictures. So now if I go on my Twitter, since I follow so many people in the cryptocurrency space, no one has the real picture anymore. Everyone has like a Bored Ape, like all these different cartoons or different characters. And it really makes it like inclusive to a degree, but almost like, race doesn't matter anymore. Like it's, and in the metaverse, you really get to decide like what you want to be seen as almost. And it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, listen, I first of all, I'm super interested in NFTs from in the art world. You know, you are seeing just ridiculous valuations of NFTs, and I think that is going to be very powerful for artists of color. You know, I think Basquiat had an NFT come out or something, and like when this takes over, it's going to be like sick. And I'm very interested in what Art Basel will look like in Miami in December. But nevertheless, you know, this idea of, you know, really living in the internet, right? Like, you know, we already are surrounded by it, but to actually be surrounded by the ideals of it is different, right? Like we go into it, but we know it's there. And then there's like the quote unquote real world. And you go to the corner store and you go to the gas station and you go to these places that, you know, where the internet doesn't exist. So, I think it will be interesting to see how even those places that we do still experience offline, how they will eventually be combined and blended into this overall, just we're in a constant stream already. And you know, for good or for bad, I don't know.
Regina, you said something earlier that really stuck with me. You said it's something about when opportunity meets preparedness. Could you say that again?
Oh, success is when preparation meets opportunity. Like,
that's what I was going for.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
It's all, I've seen it time and time again. And another way to say it, you know, my mom used to say, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Right. So, you know, you always have to stay. We don't get a second chance oftentimes. Yep. So it's important for us to be ready and to be on. And these conferences allow for thousands of Black women entrepreneurs to gather and to connect. They find their CTO, they find their co-founder at these conferences. They find their first employee at these conferences. People come to not only help start their business, but to work for a startup and to work within technology. So that's why we offer, you know, both sides of the coin, in order for all, again, I say the same thing over and over again, all boats to rise, to allow for us to get on the roadmap to billions. That's the name of our conference.
I love it, Regina. Hey, thank you so much for joining us today.
Sure.
I'm all about it. You guys are great. If you want to give a shout out, mention anything else, tell people where to connect with you, the floor is yours.
Awesome, Logan. Thank you so much for having me. Brian, Ryan, really, really appreciate the time. Please visit us at blackwomentalktech.com. Visit us on Instagram. It's the same handle. Check us out next week. It is Thursday and Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Drop in, say hello, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. And definitely looking forward to staying in touch and keeping the conversations going. Yeah, absolutely.
Certainly. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. This was fun.
Yeah, it was good.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. All righty. That was awesome. Guys, let us know what you think in the chat below. I really enjoyed that. I think that's an awesome project. And we need more stuff like that going on. You know, it's honestly to the investors' benefit. Like Regina said at the beginning, it's a for some reason an underdeveloped and ripe industry. So make sure you go check it out, connect with them, and support the cause, support the mission. That's what we're all about here in the crypto space. Okay, so let's get back to crypto prices, the market. Ryan, would you like to give us a market update, please?
You say me or Ryan?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I think Ryan had it ready. Whoever.
It was Brian. It was Brian with a B.
Oh,
so
shoot.
confusing.
Update us on the markets, Brian.
The markets are doing pretty well. Look, I mean, it's just pretty easy to see. I think the Square buying Affirm, I think that pushed Bitcoin up and then let everything else rise. I mean, we had Bitcoin over 40K for 2 days straight, and now it's still right at that 39, right in the middle of 39. It's at 39,652. So we'll see another push up. There was talks about Affirm being bought too, which is kind of speculative. There's no really actually proof that that's going on, but that's also pushing it. All altcoins are now following. ETH is booming, and ETH at one point broke off from BTC, the influence. So we saw that like kind of altcoin season kind of happening. Bitcoin was going down, Ethereum was going up, and still is kind of, you know, if you put them side by side together, they're still kind of that way. They follow, but you see a lot more breakage with ETH up, which is awesome. I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about all altcoins. My portfolio looks great. Yours, I bet your guys probably looks great. Everything, it's just, it puts everybody in a good mood whenever you see that you see that green, you know, however many numbers besides in your P&L, as opposed to that red. And you're like, I'm going to trade this, just try to work for it. But you can just let it sit and you let it go. No stress. You're not glued. Man, it's a good week. We had vacation. Everything's happening. I mean, it's a great time.
It's a good week, but I'm tempted to sell, honestly.
Hey, I'm
a little scared at this point. I kind of want to sell. I've been talking about this range between 30K to 42K for a while. And, we came up to this 42K mark, and now we're back down. It's going to be hard. If I do sell, I'm going to buy back in if we go above 42K and hold, but we haven't seen that yet. But it's tempting at these prices. And I feel like a lot of investors are kind of thinking the same thing. And the bull market support band, I mean, I don't know.
So how much of your position are you thinking about selling, Mr. Ryan?
Well, right now I'm about 20% cash. So, I mean, I was like 15% NFT until I sold that this morning. So now I'm 20% cash.
Nice.
But yeah, I would probably sell my uni bag, honestly. Try and buy back, keep a little bit of it, but sell most of it and try and buy back a little bit lower and increase that.
Did you buy it when it was in like the high 30s, 40s?
Nah, I bought it at $3.
Oh, so you're ready to go.
I'm ready to go, man.
Yeah.
But I'm ready to get back in too, so.
Well, that's not a bad idea, because I'm holding. I have a on KuCoin. I've done one of these smart rebalancing bots, and I've been running it for about 2 weeks now, and it's up like 3,000% on the APY. Not really up there, but
right.
But I mean, it's all DEX coins. So I have a DEX and DeFi. So I have Link, Uni, EOS, and BAT, which I threw that one in there, but all of them are doing great, and they'll rebalance. And that's where I've put, like, that is 60% of my portfolio now is in that rebalancing. So I don't even have to deal with it, moving up or down. It'll do it for me. It's doing pretty well. And I'd suggest anyone to look at, smart rebalancing as a way to hedge against, those huge volatility dumps.
Did you make that bot yourself, or did you find it online, or
so on KuCoin? You can go. They have pre-made ones. I put in all the requirements myself. So it's at like, I'll just tell you real quick. It's at like 20%, 15, 15, 11. And so I got Uni, Link, BAT, GRT, EOS, and Aave. And Uni and Link are 21%. BAT 16, GRT is 16, EOS is 15, Aave is 11. And it's doing fairly well. I don't really want to show how much money and all that stuff is in it, but it's not worth it. But yeah,
so it rebalances to keep your allocation across the different assets.
Yes. So every time there's a 1%, then you can change this to 1%, 2%, whatever you want. But anytime there's a 1% movement up or down, it rebalances to all the others, or to one that's down. And so it's going to keep that 20% or whatever percentage allocation you have in each one of your coins, and it's just going to fluctuate between that 1%. So it'll be a little off, but eventually it'll just keep doing it. It does it automatically. So the only thing that happens is you keep gaining more tokens. You'll get a profit, of course, but you're just going to keep buying more and more tokens with the same money, because it's rebalancing between them all. So you won't see the same amount of, Uni and Link that you have in there, but it's either going to go up or down depending on, where it's going. But over time, it'll only get more and more tokens in your wallet. So it's pretty neat.
And is there a fee for this?
No, it's just the regular KuCoin fee, but there's no
trading
fee to rebalance. Yeah, if you ever, just the regular fee that they have. And if you take it out, it's like 0.08%. It's not really much. KuCoin has very low fees, so it's going to be negligible. Pretty cool.
Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about some crypto projects. Drop your tickers in the chat, and we'll pull them up. We'll give them a review. I think we might have seen something earlier. Ryan, were you about to say something?
No, I wasn't. I did see ADA earlier. I know we've done that before. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's been a while.
guys, drop your tickers in the chat. Let's do some moon or bust. We haven't done moon or bust in a minute.
Price target on 8. 8 is my favorite stable coin. And you know, as a stable coin, my price target's not going to change. It's going to be $1 forever. ADA stands for $1 forever. Don't you guys know that?
I mean, the ridiculous
always.
the ridiculous price targets on ADA of like $500 or $1,000, guys, don't fall for that. That's just not very realistic. But I mean, by the end of this bull run, I mean, you could see some pretty good returns if the bull run continues. If we see Bitcoin go into the 6-figure range, if we see ETH approach $10,000, then you know, who knows? Maybe $20 ADA.
Yeah, I'm thinking $3 to $5 would be a pretty good, you know, conservative amount over the next, at least until, you know, the next year.
Yeah, but you have to remember there's higher risk in ADA because it's a market cycle behind ETH, so there's increased volatility. Like 3 to 5 is obviously going to be great, but I don't think it's going to stop there. Honestly, the ADA community is really strong. They're really convicted. I think a $10 ADA is definitely on the table. And you know, even like Ryan said, it could get up to $20.
I mean, if they push out the smart contracts and like do everything that they've been working on, which I know they've been working on forever, but they're going to make sure it's good. You know, you're right. I mean, it doesn't matter. I hold ADA too. I've held it for a long time now. And yeah, it's never gonna, I mean, it's gonna go up as long as they keep pushing out. It has a freaking amazing team behind it. Like some of the smartest people in crypto are behind it. So yeah, it's a big one.
All right. Noah Posner wants to know about Mana. Ryan, you want to tell us about Decentraland?
Yeah, it's one of the first virtual reality games that's based on the blockchain. It's built on Ethereum. It's pretty cool. You can go on, buy and sell land as a speculative investment, or if you want, you can develop the land and charge people to use it in many different ways. Some people have built museums with NFTs. Other people have made casinos. You know, there's a lot of different things you can do with Mana. I'm bullish on it. I think it's going to do well with the NFT market. And if we're playing moon or bust, you know, I'd give it a moon.
For sure.
I'd agree. The NFT market's booming on all, like Axie, Mana, all of these, and it's as long as that stays up, you know it's going to go good. But like Ryan said, it's got a pretty cool project. It's one of the first ones to be widely used. So yeah, I mean, Mana's here to stay, and it's going to do really well.
I am with these two. I picked up a bag of Mana a couple of months ago. We're at 25 cents. It's just been chilling with it, rocking with it. I put it into Uniswap, so I'm earning some extra Mana on top of it. And I have full faith in this project to moon.
Yo.
Air horn. Boop, 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 All right. Let's talk VeChain. So VeChain is a bit more of a centralized blockchain than Ethereum or Bitcoin we're typically used to working with, but that is because they are business facing. So they are a supply chain blockchain that works with some pretty big brands that have huge supply chains. I can't remember. There's a huge automotive maker that they're working with. It might be BMW, some European car manufacturer that uses them. They have a deal with like ASICs or some other shoemaker as well. I haven't researched it in quite a minute, so don't quote me on these specifics. But I do know they have these huge partnerships already locked in, and that is why people are so bullish on it. As a business-facing blockchain, I think there's definitely a lot of room for that as an industry, and specifically within supply chain, and they're dominating that currently. I expect them to stick around. They have first mover advantage. VeChain is a moon, in my opinion.
Yep. It's also one of the older ones too. I mean, they have that whole. Sorry. They have that whole. They start off as a distribution ledger, and so they kind of blew up from there. And they are very widely used in other countries as well. Where they are based. But yeah, it's also one of the older ones. I mean, and we're saying older, that's relative because
it's crypto years.
So it might as well be 20 years old. But I mean, it's definitely one that's going to be around for a while. And you know, they're a slow burn, but they're pretty stable, and it's been around this price. I think the highest it's gotten to is like 16 or 18 cents. and at the last bull run, and now it's back down to kind of, the average. But I think there's a lot of potential with it. And like you said, there's some crazy partnerships. And yeah, I'm moon it.
Ryan, you in agreement here?
Yeah, I agree. I'd give it a moon. I don't know as much as you two do about VeChain, but I think your points about it being the first mover and having the really big deals with some of these companies are very important. And I do agree with you, Logan. I think there is a lot of room for growth within the business-facing side of blockchain stuff.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay, that's VeChain. Ryan, do you happen to have CoinMarketCap handy for us? Because we have Farm token we can talk about, and that's really all I'm seeing. Unless you want to talk about USD,
I can pull it up if you don't.
I got it. I got the internet here at the office. We're high tech. We're full screen now. What the heck happened? Okay, Farm, Harvest Finance. Let's talk about it. Let's yield farm. Let's share my screen. Share screen. Oop. Can you see it?
Yeah, let me add it. Boom.
There we go.
So I know Harvest Finance was around back in the day during DeFi summer, kind of towards the end of DeFi summer, like September-ish. I remember there were lots of yield farming chads that were using Harvest Finance, making all that crypto gains, turning their 1 ETH into 2 and then to 4 and then to 8. Unfortunately, I've actually never used it, but I think it's pretty similar to UNI Finance. It's kind of like an aggregator. It helps you find the best rates on where to yield farm. Do you guys know anything about this project?
It's on the base. It's on Coinbase.
Okay. That's a good sign. It's on Ethereum, of course, right? Yeah.
It's on Coinbase? What?
Yeah.
Actually, that's crazy. Ryan, can you pull up that chart for us real quick?
This one?
How we looking?
Well, year to date, this was the peak kind of by the crypto boom, a little bit early. I mean, we saw a huge pump recently here. When was this?
I think that's when it went on Coinbase.
Okay. Yeah, that checks out.
It was just recent within the last couple of days, like over last week, I think it came on.
That's great.
So yeah, like if DeFi summer picks back up again, especially with all these layer 2 solutions coming out and with 1559 coming out tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if more people start using these DeFi programs like Harvest Finance, like UNI Finance, like some of these other programs out there. I would give it a moon, especially because it was around back, last year. That's a long time in crypto years, especially for DeFi. DeFi is, a relatively new phenomenon in the cryptocurrency industry. So yeah, I'd give it a moon. I like it.
Yeah, it's kind of following suit with all the others. Whoa,
Matrix.
Whoa. I mean, yeah, I like it. Anything on Coinbase, I think, has a good possibility of going forward. Coinbase did announce a couple months ago that they want to be able to have every single cryptocurrency, even new or anything, to be tradable on Coinbase in the future, which is kind of a almost too much, like too good to be true kind of thing, because it's kind of hard to, aggregate DEX tokens onto a CEX platform, because you add your token in onto a DEX like Uniswap or PancakeSwap by coding it into the token contract, and then you allocate it later and everything. So it kind of changed the game a little bit. But it'd be very interesting to see how that plays out, because the next couple of years, I'm sure that it'll happen. Like you said, years are 1 year equals 10 years in crypto world, but it's going to be really interesting to see how they will handle that.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I don't know a whole lot about Farm, but since you guys are bullish, I'll play along. I'll give it a moon. I think it could go up if it's on Coinbase, but take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
All right. Unfortunately, we are actually out of time for today.
Yo, we got a shout out, Logan.
We got a shout out where?
Yeah, NFT Mania on Moon or Bust, but stick around because we're talking about Vogu collection NFTs on the next episode here at Benzinga. So make sure to stay on.
Totally forgot. That's super hype. Yeah, we are starting a brand new NFT show. It's coming up right now, so don't go anywhere. Once again, this is Moon or Bust, your home for all things altcoins and DeFi. We are signing off for today, but don't go anywhere. You'll get redirected to the NFT show.
You're going to love it.
Peace out, fellas. Have a good one.